This is IGN. Despite some enhancements, this isn't the current-gen hockey game fans have waited for. This is your IGN review of NHL 25 by Nick Ransbottom. Every year I get my hopes up thinking, this is it. This'll be the year EA's NHL finally gets it together and delivers on its full potential, only to then spend dozens of hours playing a game that is almost fundamentally the same as the one I played the previous year. There are rare exceptions to this. Even though I had my issues with NHL 24, the sustained pressure system and exhaustion engine at least added something new to the overall gameplay, and NHL 21's Be a Pro mode has become a staple since its introduction. Unfortunately, NHL 25 isn't one of those exceptions. Despite an overhauled franchise mode and updated AI, this ultimately just feels like a shinier version of last year's entry. On the surface, it's clear right from the start that NHL 25 is the first game in this series built exclusively for current-gen consoles. The graphics are sharp and the action on the ice looks better than ever. Animations are smoother, and there's something satisfying about seeing how much wear and tear you put on the ice over the course of each period. Players now look much more like actual humans and less like animatronics, so zoom-ins on faces will hopefully no longer provide as much nightmare fuel. Those visual improvements even extend to the menus in franchise mode, which is the only mode that's seen any meaningful changes this year. It's immediately noticeable how much sleeker the redesigned hub menu is and how it makes things easier to parse. There's less need to hop around menus to find specific statistics, which are now displayed front and center. But there have also been actual gameplay additions to franchise 2. For example, GMs must now convince free agents to sign with their team if the player's interest in the organization is too low, which makes things interesting by forcing you to work for the players you want. GMs can also discuss what the team should be focusing on during the offseason with head coaches, which essentially provides interesting season-wide buffs and debuffs to choose from for your team. Players can be approached with a new conversation system to let you develop them individually, too. That could be by assigning seasonal goals to chase or on-ice plays to execute, which will lead to unlocking X-Factor abilities if successfully completed. As far as the online modes are concerned, there's a new wildcard option in Hockey Ultimate Team, or HUT, that gives you a salary cap and then has you draft a team under specific restrictions that change over multiple seasons. I like the idea of wildcard providing a way to keep things feeling fresh while challenging players at the same time, though HUT's still not something I ever find myself too engaged with. More notably than just the addition of wildcard, progression in all HUT modes has merged into one singular HUT Battle Pass. It's a simple but welcome change as it keeps progression unified. And of course, you can still buy premium card packs in HUT with microtransactions thanks to the in-game currency, NHL points. As always, you don't technically need to purchase any of these packs to play the HUT modes, but it's undeniable that doing so gives you higher odds of getting better players for your team, lending the whole thing to its usual pay-to-win stench that turns me away from the mode almost entirely. There's no denying that the action on the ice looks better than ever in NHL 25, and it's nice to see franchise mode get some welcome changes that help it feel more authentic for those interested in the sim experience. But when I look at this year's entry as a whole, it's quite lackluster, with very few meaningful mechanical changes that ultimately just leave it feeling like more of the same as last year. For being the first NHL game available exclusively on current-gen consoles, it's a shame that NHL 25 is still stuck in the same last-gen rut. NHL 25's IGN score? 6. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and for the latest NHL 25 updates, visit us at IGN.com.
Spoken Layer.